Good evening, everyone. My name is Patrik, Juranek, and I'm founder and CEO of Startup Disrupt. It's my pleasure to welcome you here right now at this amazing event, Expansion, Boost Your Expansion. We are having amazing list of panelists in front of us. But before that, I would like to just give you a brief introduction into what is Startup Disrupt. So Startup Disrupt, what we are doing, we are right now trying to build one of the largest startup communities all around the world. And why we are doing so? Because we feel and we really see that to be a startup founder is not easy. Someday it's really tough job. And we found out that someday it's really meaningful if we can maybe give some advice or we can support to anyone on this journey, because someday it's pretty lonely. So we would like to be here to support and to, let's say, help with some inspiration, education, and connection to some potential business partners or mentors, advisors, or even the friends who can support you on this journey. We wouldn't be possible organize events like this without our partners who are supporting us on this journey. And for this event, it's CzechInvest, Napad, Roku, and Microsoft. So right now, I would like to give a word to Carolina from CzechInvest, who would like to give you her speech.
Hi, everybody. I'm delighted to be here on behalf of CzechInvest, which has a long history of supporting tech innovative startups, not only with their business development in Czech Republic, but also and especially with their foreign expansion. What makes me more happy is that two of today's panelists are our former participants of the programs called Czech Accelerator. David spent 6 months with that program in Silicon Valley, and Roman spent 6 months in London. We are really proud that we could support them with their first steps into these foreign markets. I hope that you will enjoy this panel discussion, and if you have any questions to me, to CzechInvest, to the startup programs, please don't hesitate to approach me directly or search for our website, czechinvest.org. Thank you and enjoy.
Thank you, Carolina. Thank you very much. Woo! Thank you. So right now, I would like to give a word to Filip from Microsoft, who would like to as well give you a quick intro about Microsoft activities for startup.
Hello, good evening, everybody. It's a great to be here. We are going to talk about boost your expansion, right? So I'm a developer, and I know that if I create something, I need to be laser focused. So in case of company is laser focused to be successful, let's say on product, market, team, brand. So do you think it is a good idea to, let's say, let developers do design? No, I think it's not a good idea, at least in my case. I think it's very same with a company. So we need to focus on a core where we are best and find good partners to go faster. So why I'm telling that? Because Microsoft was in a history, still is, and will be let's say partner-led company. So we do majority of our business with partners, and together we gain customers. So if you want to scale globally, if you are interested how to partner with Microsoft, how to work together, let's say from the technology perspective and also from the business perspective, I will be more than happy to talk about a little bit more about how we can support startups, and I'm here for you. Thanks a lot and enjoy the evening. Back to Patrik.
Okay, thank you very much, Filip, and I hope that as well you'll enjoy it, and thank you for partnering with us. Thank you. So right now, before we will jump into the discussion, I would like to just give you a brief intro as well to the agenda. So if you'll have any questions regarding to this panel discussion, please don't hesitate to go to Slido, and if you'll use the code SDP, as you can see down on the screen, you can ask the questions, and hopefully we'll be able to answer them the majority of them. So after this 1 hour panel discussion, we are having a short pitch night with four founders who will pitch their idea, and they will receive some meaningful feedback from the panelists. So there is much more for this evening. So please have a seat and enjoy it. The Boost Your Expansion is starting now, and I am really much happy that I can pass the word to Vít, who will be the moderator for this panel. Vít, the stage is yours.
Ciao, Patrik. Thank you very much for the invitation. Great to be here with you guys. I can't see all the attendees, unfortunately. I hope that there is a lot of people attending from all over the world, not only from Czech Republic, and I'm glad to see the cameras popping up with all the speakers. So hey, Tal, Roman, Daniel, David, great to be here with you. Ahoy, and let's wave also to the audience, of course. Before I will give you the opportunity to introduce yourself, I'm typically, when I have an opportunity to moderate, by the way, I'm not a professional moderator, I'm an entrepreneur, so I suck at these things, but they invited me anyway. I would like to give you some tricky question, that will make you uncomfortable and it will make it more fun, to start the whole event. So in this particular and very peculiar time, I guess the most trickiest question is, how you guys doing? David, why don't you get started? How you doing?
All right, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Good morning. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Second, I hope that you're okay. In Prague, I'm in LA, and reading the Czech news is very worrying. So sending some positive vibes. We went through a similar situation here in LA County, which roughly has 10 million people, which is similar to the Czech Republic, but the numbers were really bad, but not as bad as you guys are experiencing. So sending positive energy, and hope that it's going to go down the same way it did over here. And as far as I'm doing, it's a great day, still super warm over here, beautiful Californian sunshine, so really excited to chat today.
Always great to speak with you. I'm always feeling jealous. Daniel, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Calling in from Vienna.
Very good. And how you doing in this peculiar time, and professional wise? How is your business doing?
Well, actually, business is doing good. I wouldn't go to the extent to say it's doing great, but it's at least minimum doing good. So we had a successful fundraise just in Q1, just before the lockdown was announced in Europe. We had a 190 million fund fresh into the market, and as a result, we are doing one investment per week since.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So
that's pretty cool.
Doing well. Portfolio is doing fine. However, it's been very busy, very special weeks and months, but there was a lot to be learned on our industry, on our business, on ourselves, on how everything works. A time that I honestly would never want to miss, because in a way it was a massive boost to the whole digital thesis that we're all in investing upon. The whole, I don't know, the whole pandemic around massively accelerated the transformation towards digital. What potentially would have happened in 5 years, now it was forced to happen in 5 months. However, of course, it's tragic. We would have, of course, wished for totally different circumstances, but the reality is as it is, and we are all entrepreneurs, and we need to take it as it comes and build chances out of adversities.
Absolutely agreed. So now we're moving from California to Vienna, right to Israel. Tal, how are you doing?
Hi, shalom. from Tel Aviv, from Israel. We're doing fabulous. What can I tell you? Well, depends who you are. I mean, we're now in the second big lockdown, starting our third week. But that's Corona. I mean, we all learned that that's the new normal right now. And webinar is all we have. So from flying, I don't know, 30 times a year, I haven't seen overseas in almost, I don't know, eight months. And in a way, I think I grow some roots in my chair here. I'm wearing my boxer shorts, my shirt. I'm just waiting for the augmented reality to change my clothes. I don't have time. And well, again, if you're a startup, well, for you, nothing really changed. I mean, uncertainty, unclarity, no money, no sale, everything is difficult. Welcome to startup life. It's like now the startup ecosystem greets everyone to our lives, okay? So nothing really changed. And just to say on the numbers, because soon there will be competition and we are the startup nation, with all due respect to America here. Well, Israeli startups raised $1.2 billion just on September. And we had national holidays during, so it's a weak month for us. So it's only $1 billion. Everything here is in a way normal for the startup ecosystem. The rest of humanity, well, let them deal with this Corona, I don't know, find their niche. But we're doing well. Thank you for asking. And it's a great opportunity to be here. And thank you, Patrik, and you, Vit, all the panel here. Very glad to be here.
Absolutely. Roman, how you doing? And also with your answer, why don't you just very quickly introduce yourself, and we will then pass the word also to the others. And in just about 2 minutes, we'll start with the actual discussion. So let's keep it short, but because the audience here is today to actually hear our thoughts and experiences about the how to make international expansion successful.
Sure, Vit, I will be quick. So welcome, greetings from rainy London. I have to say we are doing good. If you don't follow the numbers, like once you stop checking the daily numbers, like you're doing really good. And it gives you more time in like focusing on the business, because I believe that this situation brings a huge opportunity for all startups, because they are really innovative, right? So you can sometimes where you would have like huge blockers, then now people are really open to changes, and at least in our case, it opens us a lot of doors. And I will continue in my introduction. So my name is Roman, and I work for a company called ROI Hunter. We are a tech company. That means that we are helping online retailers in marketing, selling their products online. We're focusing on like really companies with a portfolio or inventory of 10,000 plus products. So, and we help them to sell them efficiently on Facebook, Google, and later on another networks as well.
Thank you. Tal, why don't you introduce quickly yourself?
So I think I hold the Guinness Book of, I think I hold the Guinness Book of Records just because they didn't put the category yet, but I opened 14 accelerators to date, and I've done 60 cohorts. This is why I don't have any hair anymore, because of the entrepreneurs. It's really challenging, you know, and I'm saying Israeli startup, that's even a higher, you know, level of difficult. Everything is a struggle, although I do operate in about 20 countries in Eastern Europe mainly. So you have serial entrepreneurs. I'm a serial accelerator establisher or manager, and 3,500 startups have gone through my programs in Israel as well as overseas. And my thing is to grow startups, is to bring innovation in the practical way. As we know, 96% of them die anyway first year. I'm fighting with the 4%. Okay, so it's easier more safer going to a den with a lion than work with startups. That's the most riskiest job on earth. For some reason in Israel, it became a kind of a cult. Everyone here, either you go unemployed or you become a startup. So everyone here has a startup. Wherever you throw a stone, you hit a startup. This is a kind of a culture, is we love everything difficult. If you can serve more difficult, we want it. Okay, so this is Israel.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Why don't we go to the gentleman with the long hair? Because your job needs to be obviously very simple since you're having a long hair, right?
Au contraire. My job is so challenging, I can't even see my hairdresser. I don't have time for this. Where to start? I mean, we run a seed stage pan-European tech venture fund headquartered in Vienna. We started out almost 10 years ago as literally a startup itself, a 10 million small boutique fund. Meanwhile, we grew considerably. Our team is 70 people, insanely large compared to the assets and the management that we got from our LPs, which is just over 400 million. Meanwhile, on aggregate, but we run a very specific seed stage model. Literally, we built we initially 20 years ago we started our own first tech startup. We raised capital in March 2000. So for the bit older gentlemen and in the audience among you, you know what happened in March 2000. The Nasdaq bubble burst. This was literally 4 days after we raised our heavily overpriced seed round. After that, everything went south for 3 years. Horrible time. But during this time, we kept the company afloat, and we always figured out that VC can and should be done different, specifically in seed stage, as it's conventionally done. And with all that learnings and experience, we came up and built Speed Invest, a VC fund that invests much more operational support and so to say a third hand to the founder than we do invest financial capital. And everything that we do is geared to the target to allow our portfolio companies raising a meaningful Series A after they've got past product market fit. That's what we do. Right. Although I have 69 colleagues working alongside me, I still don't find time to see my hairdresser.
David and his perfectly made hair today. Why don't you introduce yourself, David? And when do you have all your time to make your beautiful hair every day?
Well, thanks for the compliment. I actually just got a haircut last week. I am now running a second company, but with the first one.
In the proverbial sense of the word. You know, what an investor
sorry,
avoid his haircuts.
Well, I learned the hard way with my first company, STRV, that I started in 2004 and ran for about 14 years, that not sleeping and working too much can have some bad consequences. So now I'm on my second startup that I started 2 years ago called Kindest. And I definitely put much more attention when it comes to my lifestyle and life balance. So I know it's not sustainable not to do that. And now I am pretty in a good shape, I would say. I get my haircut every month. It's being scheduled. So I do a very different approach than you guys in VC. And maybe some inspiration for people listening for them to find like what is the right fit for them, whether it's going to be the crazy overworking and losing hair or a healthy lifestyle. But I do have a question to Tal though. I was just wondering if all the Israelis are also as funny as you are, or is that just your trait specifically?
No, actually saying is that the situation here is so complex. Is the one thing that we have for free is laughing. So what can we do more than that? But what I'm saying is funny is because we all live the same life. I mean, startuppers, they know everything, sun shining through their ass. Who am I to tell them something or anything? And then when you say to their face, I can tell you my experience from Europe, then I get those, silent messages saying, Tal, you're too tough. Tal, relax. But, we all here do the army. Army here is mandatory, age 18, boys and girls, we all become commanders, age 18 and a half. You already take life and death decisions. It's very different than Europe. And I do not wish for you to be in the situation where we are here, where we learned that we can, in a way, need to be self-sufficient and self-reliant. We can rely only on what we do. So the one thing that we don't develop here or manufacture are cars. We don't manufacture cars, but everything else, we actually manufacture for ourselves and then realize the entire world needs it. And you know what? Everyone, those who even don't like us, use it without knowing that we do that. So for Israelis, I always say it, we're Jewish. We're Jewish, meaning we're sticking rich. Money in Israel is not the object. You will not see poor people, too much poor people running about. You won't see homeless here. We don't have this scene here in Israel. But our biggest problem is market. The world is a niche for us. Third of the world doesn't want to work with us. The other third boycotts us, God knows why. So we are left with this, slice. Whomever reaches out, we want to talk to you. Okay? Yeah. So we do have those trades. So we learn to be nice. Although when you see Israelis in Israel, they want to kill one another. But in overseas, we are nice. We stand in line. Here we fight. We cut corners, everything. But I think in a way, this is like everyone. And I had a discussion today with Italy. Guys, everyone is going backwards with this freaking lockdown, okay? Yeah. This is what it is. But just to say, on the other hand, I just launched a call out on behalf of Hire, the Chinese group, manufacturer of home appliances, calling startups from idea, research, early stage to mature, to apply, and the Chinese will give you whatever you want. This is now happening. So in a way, normality is already here enough with this Corona shit. We had enough. We can speak about it.
Absolutely agreed.
And let's do something about it, which is not to deal with that, is to live our lives in a way that we need to progress. That's it.
Absolutely.
And we are here to make funny because we want everyone here in depression to, take a deep breath and start laughing, because this is what we're left with, just to laugh about what's going on in this crazy world.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. And David, I can assure you, I have recently sold my recent company to Israeli people, and not so many people are that nice as Tal. It was one of the toughest discussions that I've had in my life. But, luckily enough, the company is called Nice. So they have it, they by design that they need to be nice. Anyways, let's get to the discussion. We're having here two founders or two business people that have built their businesses and they have expanded internationally. And we are having here two great guys who have been working with tens and hundreds of different companies, and they have witnessed their international expansions. And I would say more importantly, they have witnessed many mistakes and failures from which you guys that you've been connecting today can learn most. So why don't we get started with David and Roman? Guys, you have both attended, you've been members of the Czech Accelerator program, the program financed by Czech government to help, very early stage startups to expand. David, you went to United States. Roman, you went to London. To what extent do you think that this was the important moment for starting with your international expansion, and how did it help to you, David?
Well, I'm really grateful. I have to say it was it made the expansion much easier. So it happened in 2011 when we applied in December to the Czech Accelerator program, which wasn't that known at that time. I think there was only like 6 other companies applying, and we got selected. And we got about 6 months of office space and connections. And it wasn't my first time in the US, but it was definitely my first time when I was running a business in the US. And the support we had here on the ground was really made it easier. Like I remember, for example, getting the first deal was extremely difficult. It took a year, but I already had some like really good connections here, and it was nice to come to a new market and having it laid out for you. I think I would be able to expand on my own as well. But definitely, I'm thankful to Czech Accelerator for making it so much easier.
Awesome. Romane, how about yourself, and what specifically helped you in the first steps of the international expansion of your company?
I have to say I have really similar experience as David. What was like really super helpful with the program is that we had an office from day one, and it was office at King's Cross, which is like really good location in London. Also, thanks to the program, we had access to a lot of really smart people, a lot of coaches, a lot of mentors, which helped to basically train the team here to basically adapt to different markets, teach them how to adjust the narrative, how to prepare like proper deck, and how to basically how this people in this market behave differently than people back in CEE. So I would say it was, but again, the biggest help was that we had the office and people which we could consult with.
Very good.
Yeah, 100%. I would just like to add that I agree the mentors and the office, two most important things. One of the mentors that we actually got here was Chris Burry, who was, I believe, one of the founders of Accenture. And just the quality of the people you could speak to the first day you arrive in a new market, it was just out of the roof. So I think it was a collaboration with US Mac that CzechInvest set up and was really a critical part of the first days here.
Very good. Although we're coming from 3 different countries today, or nationalities, what unites us, I believe, all of us on the virtual stage, is that we're coming from small countries, actually. Countries where if startup can want to build $1 billion company, it's not an option typically to just own the local market. We need to expand, right? It's not about being in the US and having international expansion as an option. This is necessary for absolute majority of the startups. What's your experience working with so many different early stage startups in Israel? Do they design their company since the very beginning for international expansion? Is their mindset of the founders to being international, going abroad, doing the business internationally?
First of all, from my experience with many other ecosystems but Israel, is that everyone in their minds, when they start from the get-go, they think global. I mean, they know that act local, think global, blah, 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 blah. They all hear it and they can, puke it in the morning. But the question is, what do they do about it? That's the big question. So in Israel, yes, when you're part of a small nation, you know that it will not make anything for you actually doing much in your country. But the fact that it's your culture and your language and you live here makes it possible to you, if you use it as a better site. But you don't need to go too large. Second is the fact that your investors will not be so much impressed. Again, depending where you live. If you show your investor you succeeded to grow in Israel, where everything is difficult, where everyone is smarter than you, well, it's a good point, the fact that you survived it, yes? But still, if you look for investors, I don't know, in the US, they would like to see big big clients in North America, not in a small village in Israel. But we don't have villages, I'm just saying. A small city in Israel, okay? But just to say, so kibbutz, exactly. So Israelis, you wake them up in the middle of the night. What's your target market? USA. This is what we know. It's automatic. Why? It's a big market. Everyone speaks English. Why work hard? Go to Russia. Well, 145 million. Half of them don't have internet. So what am I looking there exactly? So again, it needs to be very specific. You know your business. So what you will find in Israel is that people are very quick to execute. Very quick to execute. And they have the ability. Israel, I think, is second in the world in education. By the way, don't check any of the numbers I'm saying. It's a waste of time. But I'm
no,
saying,
we don't do that in these times anymore.
No, you see, it depends how you say it. Like second, who is gonna Google and then write me you're third? Who cares? What I'm saying is that people here are very much educated, especially on technology. We do teach cyber age 9. We teach Chinese from age 13. Why? We know they're gonna take over the world. Why wait? At least know to speak with them. Otherwise, what? So again, it's a different kind of culture. We don't teach you to memorize. We give you tools. Here are the tools. Use them. It's another way of education, and I'm saying it specifically for entrepreneurs who, God, we all pray that they are good on the technology. They are bad on business and management. This is where you need the professionals to come in. Believe me, I know nothing about technology, but I'm nothing without those people knowing the technology with business skills. This is how you take it a step forward.
Thank you. Daniel, when I was starting my first business 17 years ago, all of my friends were running local businesses or Central and Eastern European businesses. And the best that you can get were companies that somehow expanded to Germany. You've been on the market with Speed Invest for like 20 years, right? To what extent do you believe that, when you were starting your business at Speed Invest, did you have a lot of companies thinking globally already in Vienna? And how did it change for the past 20 years?
Well, first and foremost, we're doing Speed Invest for the past 10 years. The 10 years before, we've been entrepreneurs ourselves, starting a software company in Vienna, who then 6 years later we were able to sell to in an exit to VeriSign, Nasdaq listed VeriSign. So what we see is a repeated pattern over the past 20 years. However, in the very recent past, and that's a good thing, in the very recent past it fades. So the typical pattern is a very engineer-heavy teams starting out from TU München or TU Wien or Darmstadt or whatever else have you, or ETH in Zurich, building a super product for the most immediate market they can they can just see and grasp, which is typically some big enterprise sales, and not really thinking in a big international, let alone a global dimension or rollout. The good thing, however, is Austria itself, as you said, totally right, is a fringe market. It's like the port to Germany. So we can test our startups, the Austrian companies, they can test their product in the Austrian market before hitting the German market and with an unrefined product. So this leaves them a bit of a sandbox to test it out. But once the first signals of market viability are here, they need to grow quickly, and this is where most of them fail. And of course, being a venture capitalist now, we must aim for the big outcomes. The big outcomes can only be global successful companies. However, there's a lot of companies, and we all know the numbers, the odds are just against you. Out of 100, which we're going to have in our new fund, maybe 5 going to be internationally, globally big. 95 are not going to make it. The 100 that we pick in 3 years is out of, I would say, a deal flow on aggregate between 15 and 30,000 that we look at. We pick 100. Out of those 100, 5 are going to make it globally. But what to do with those 95 that still build nice software, good product, but somehow for various reasons might not scale globally? What to do with them? And for these, I think we are all very responsible for to ensure that they also kind of at least achieve a halfway decent outcome, in the sense of, I don't know, 10, 20 million enterprise value exit in a trade sale, in an acqui-hire, and allowing these founders to end up with a successful project and then recycle some of the exit proceeds. I mean, the challenging thing, get this moment right between testing the product in a local niche market, and then very quickly scale to and face the global competition. This is the most challenging phase, I think.
Yeah, that's actually what interests me. Like, what's your role of Speed Invest or early stage, a seed stage venture capital fund in helping and supporting the founders to start with the expansion? Where do you see your role?
What we do is actually, typically we are the first fund joining the cap table after maybe a series of angel rounds, an accelerator stint. Our first check is in the range of $500,000 to $1.5 million, should buy the company 1 to 2 years of runway, depending on market, product, technology they work on. And all that we do is geared towards the target to allow the company raise a meaningful Series A. This means get very close to product market fit. And in those super early stages, money can't solve all problems, right? They can't hire an SVP of sales of a big tech company because these people are not used to work in a startup environment. So this is where we bring our people in to assist and work alongside the CEO of the startup to get just some stuff done and get work off his desk, and try to make our bet on this startup successful. So this is our way to protect our investment, is not by anti-dilution clauses or liquidation preferences stacking up with every round that fresh money comes in. What we rather do is to protect the investment, we rather protect the asset. To us, I think this is a much more promising way to work in the first 3 years of existence of a company.
Vit, if
and this is done by, we help them hire. We run an office in San Francisco. Once we think they are far enough, we help them enter the US market. We help them build out SEO strategies. Also, we help them fundraise, because eventually every startup is going to run out of money, because this defines the venture phase. The business itself doesn't generate enough money to keep the company afloat. They need money from the outside. This defines the venture phase. And this calls to the VC to be active and not just sit there and wait until the next one comes in and pays.
Very good. Tal, what's the role of accelerators in this, in helping with the first steps in international expansion? Probably when the company is super small, founders, just a few employees perhaps, and you want to help them to get out and not to make too many mistakes.
First of all, I want to say to what Daniel said very correctly is, first of all, the 95% left over, you need to shred them, to reboot them and hope they will come alive, and otherwise they're dead, and it's okay. Startups, well, not everyone is born to have a startup, but everyone has the right to try to have one. But startup is not for everyone. Okay, it's a tough life. You don't want to be there. I don't wish it to my kids, although they're all going to have startups, okay? I'm telling you, it's difficult. So this is why don't spend your time with the branding, with the logo, schmogo, and your spitz. You need to quickly work on your technology, get out there, be out there. Don't waste. They brush it and they brush it and they pitch like this. Who cares? It's a waste of time if you don't have the technology. Nothing can cover the fact that you don't have technology, okay? And this needs to work quickly. If you are not looking for your partner and you do quick, speed dating, what is it? Tinder for startups. Enough. Either you know how to run your business or otherwise take help, go to an accelerator. Now, I'm not saying this just because I'm the accelerator guru. I earn very well from my accelerator. I'm not hiding the fact, okay? But I am saying, people ask me the most asked question, Tal, how do I choose my accelerator? My answer is the same. I don't care for the brand. I don't care who put their money. If Microsoft for startups is there or not, and I'm a business partner, I need to give that said, also AWS, but that said, okay, the accelerator will succeed on the person running it, which is a one person. Sorry, not the community manager. Please don't be offended. It's the accelerator manager and the startups. They work together. If a startup succeeds, everything is great for the accelerator. If the accelerator succeeds by itself, is nothing. It's an empty shell. In the end, you need to be tough, You need to be tough. It's slapping left and right all the time. Startups have this, I don't know, quality of doing everything different than they should and do exactly what they don't need to do at that specific time. And it's the role of the accelerator to keep them aligned because, well, they're optimistic. Otherwise, how can you be a startup if you're not optimistic? I mean, what reason do you have to wake up in the morning? They wake up in the morning for two reasons. A, today we're going to raise the money, like gamblers. Today we're going to raise the money. Second, well, my CTO is going to deliver the MVP. Will never happen. He wants to deliver, but you make him cuckoo. You run around him, you crazy CEO. That's the daily struggle. CEO says to the CTO, give me something, an MVP, I will bring money. Says the CTO, bring me money, I will do the MVP. That's the daily struggle. And you need an adult in the room say, enough. You sit here, you do this. Hey, you the CTO, what are you doing in the accelerator? Go close yourself in the closet. Do your programming, do your code. What are you doing here? You're going to learn how to do I don't know, founder's agreement. Why are you here? When they are not managed, it's a colossal failure. That's what.
Thank you, Tal. David, what was the stage of your company when you first expanded, when you first hop on a plane and you went to United States? You were still thinking, what's the problem of my customers, or you already had a product or service? At what stage you were?
We were 20 people at the time when I was flying to the US, and just to give a little background, we were providing services to Czech companies, engineering and design services, like an outsourcing company. And the reason why I decided to expand to the US was because the market was too small. I knew that becoming the #1 mobile dev shop in the Czech Republic is going to be nice for the ego, but it's going to mean zero when it comes to any business impact or any financial impact. And that's why I went the hard way and decided to jump on the plane.
Was it too late, too soon, or just about the right time? When you were 20 people, you already were successful in the home market?
Well, we were like semi-successful. I mean, like pseudo-successful. Like we were one of the largest mobile dev shops in the entire country. But in the end, the market was so small. Like I remember my favorite story is when I called Cinestar, the movie chain, and I was desperate. We switched to mobile, and because we knew that we couldn't be like a web shop for any general media, because we would be taking like a really small position in the market. So we were like, okay, let's focus on mobile. When mobile started getting hot, I called Cinestar and I was like, hey, I think it'd be great to make a mobile app for you guys. And the manager or the CEO of the chain said like, okay, our clients are not interested in this. Our like moviegoers, they will never be, and this is the worst thing in the world. Like I don't want this, never. So I was like, okay. So at the time when I was leaving the Czech Republic, in terms of the market focus, the market was still so small that I guess it was the right timing, because we made it in the end. But the expansion cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we were like, that was our entire revenue. So we were so close to bankruptcy. I was I couldn't even afford to take a cab. I was like biking everywhere in San Francisco, eating free pizza at parties or at events, and it was just very scrappy. So I think we barely made it. So I would say the timing was right from that perspective. And when it comes to startups, like what Tal and Daniel are saying, it's really about doing and not much about planning. So I guess my takeaway would be do more and think less, and that's why the timing was good, because it worked out.
Thank you. Roman, how about yourself? At what stage you decided that you're gonna go expand your company? At what stage you were at with the company?
So our company already did it 4 times. We already tried 4 expansions. 2 were successful, 2 were not that successful, and each of them were after some sort of like we have a better income. So the first one was to Dubai, and this come after the seed investment, and then the last one now when we expand to the UK, it came after the Series A. And I would say in the first case, when we expanded to Middle East, it was a time where we thought that we have a market fit, and so we saw some really good traction in the CEE region. Everybody was really excited about our product. We have like plenty of happy customers, and when we found a partner in Dubai, then we went there and tried. And this is where we found that we were not ready for Middle East market, because the market was so different than what we experienced in the CEE. So then when we went to the UK, and this is also like a reason why we choose UK, because like it's quite similar. It's not that different market than CEE, and also to travel it's much easier. You can support. You can keep your support in the HQ in Czech Republic. You don't need to move all teams. And I would say it came in the time when after the Series A we already had our market fit. We knew what is our core value, and we were quite confident to selling it in other more advanced market. Plus, like a huge benefit was that we already had managed to get one UK client even from selling from Czech Republic. So when we came to the UK, we already had like the first logo which we could show to other potential customers.
Vit is gone. I think we can go, and when he comes back, we will not be here, and see what he does. That's a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe I can. In the meantime, before he comes back, I can just add to what Roman was saying. It was.
Let's just play a round of hide and seek on the internet. Like.
No, at least you can smile. I can take a photo, so we will see all of us.
I'm gone.
Yeah. By the way, I send you all invites. I think most of you answer, right? I mean, we're connected in a way. And if you want anything like here in the Startup Nation, if you need anything, I don't know if you want to come here, because we are a red country right now. When we're not red, we're at war. So you decide when it's better for you to come. But no, honestly saying, any of you been here? Any of you visit Israel?
I haven't.
Yeah, for business in Tel Aviv.
Yo, you need to come here. Vit, where you been, buddy?
Yeah.
No, you're muted. You're muted. You're in Mars.
Got yourself a beer?
Exactly. You took coffee or something.
No.
It was
great.
That it broke my computer.
Yeah,
but it was great.
The mind of the computer. Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, when you were not here, we got an invitation to come to Israel. So
yes.
I wonder next time when you disappear, what we're gonna get.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Now, sorry about that. I don't know how that happened. Anyways, guys, David, Roman. David, you were CEO of your company when you were expanding into US, whereas Roman, you're not. So is international expansion CEO's agenda or not? David?
Well, we were 20 people, and I had no idea how to structure a company, because there were no smart people advising me like Daniel and Tal, and therefore we had a very flat operating structure. We only had like a couple people like in terms of admin. The rest of them were just the engineers and designers. And if it wasn't the CEO's agenda, it wouldn't be anyone's agenda, because we didn't have anyone. So I was the one who flew there. So I honestly don't have experience with like large company expansion right now. my learning from that, when I was taking STRV from Czech Republic to the US, was that when you enter the new market, you're starting from scratch. Like as Roman was saying, you need a couple logos from the local market. And when I was pitching to people, that's why it took me so long. It took me a year to get the first customer, because no one cared about our success in the Czech Republic. And it was such an experience, such a tough experience, that my second company, Kindest, which is automating the work out of online fundraising for nonprofits, I actually decided to start in the US right away and focus on the US market, because I didn't want to go through the expansion again, because it is so difficult to go from one market where you like sort of make it, or let's say if Czech Republic was bigger, and I would be able to say like, we won in the Czech Republic, and it was significant, but then going to the new market and starting from scratch is so hard. And like you go like from being somebody to being absolutely nobody. Like people look at you and it's like, you did what in the Czech Republic? What? So it actually wasn't up until we started working with a lot of startups in Y Combinator that gave us some kind of credibility here in the US. And then people started looking at us differently, because they were like, oh, wow, you work for this company that just raised $1 million. Awesome. And my learning, if you know that the market where you're starting, like the Czech Republic, is too small for you to make a significant business, don't start there. Just go directly somewhere else. And it's easier to start in the Czech Republic, because the network I have there, I can call anybody with any kind of problem, and like I will be able to get help right away. Whereas in here, I didn't have any connections, so it is significantly harder to start in the US or in a market where you don't have the connections. But it's worth it, because then you save those 2 years that you spend on building it in the Czech Republic or in the small market, and you don't hit the ceiling. Like I can give you an example. Right now we are scaling our sales team from 3 to 10 people, and we don't need to be worried about the market, because the market is almost unlimited in the US. There are 1.5 million nonprofits, 1.5 million customers. And in the Czech Republic, if we were scaling from 3 to 10, we would probably be already like seeing some kind of a slowdown because of the size of the market.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, only I will say some of the experience that I have from my B2B SaaS business when we expanded into US after like 6 years successfully. And before that, we were trying hard different European countries and Asian countries. And we ended up having customers in more than 35 different countries. And that was, frankly, it sounded great, but it was a nightmare, because the US as one country would suffice, absolutely for us as a total addressable market. And we just chosen the harder way to go to so many different countries. So absolutely the same experience here. Romane, how much more difficult was your job when you were working on expanding your company and you were not being a CEO of that company?
Yeah, I believe that CEO should just decide whether we go abroad or not. Then it's a job of somebody else to make sure that the expansion is successful, because CEO has so many things on the table. Then this one person cannot simply manage multiple markets. So I believe that there is always important to have some sort of head of region who is responsible for the success, for the revenue coming from the country. And from our experience, what is really crucial is always to send somebody from basically the headquarters to help to start the market, because this person can be like really great it's the point of contact for people back in the HQ, right? So it's like really difficult for the new team to communicate with developers, with support team who stays back in the HQ. And if the people from the HQ know somebody who is there in the new market, it's much easier, right? And then it's also important to have somebody who knows the market. So like decent salesperson, but definitely it shouldn't be on the agenda of the CEO.
Very good. Daniel, let's talk money. So you've been working with a lot of startups that just got their investment from you and perhaps from other investors. You advise them or you give them recommendation about potential expansion, and they go. How much money they should prepare for their expansion, and what sort of advices are you giving them in terms of how to execute the expansion well?
Well, the first part of the question is almost impossible to answer. How much money to reserve for expansion? The second part of the answer goes very much along the lines what David and Roman just said. So one thing is we do have a couple of examples in the portfolio of companies starting out in small European markets, Slovenia, Austria, some else markets, and now moved to the US and are really becoming successful there. It's probably very few things to keep in mind, but to these few things you absolutely need to get right. So first is it on the CEO's agenda to drive the international expansion? Definitely yes, depending, but also very much on the size of the market that you're expanding into. So to expand from Austria into Germany, not necessary that the CEO moves. You can work the German market very easily out of a backyard office in Vienna. US, however, is totally different. This is kind of the end game in a startup's growth path. So if you want to go there, it's definitely the CEO who has to move over. And because he is, or he or she, or the most inner circle of the entrepreneur's team, they are the DNA of the company. And if they are not there, the company is not there. And they will fail. No way past it.
I think question to you, and feel free to follow up then on Daniel as well. I wanted to ask you actually also how to make, you were actually mentioning that the first market that you're thinking of after you started in Israel, you go to US, or companies from Israel go to US. How to make the expansion as agile as possible so you necessarily don't lose too much money, too much focus, etc. by expanding?
First of all, we need to understand the order of things. Just want to follow on Daniel. So if you're looking to penetrate into US market and you go to your investor and he says, well, how much money do you going to put for penetrating the American market? And you say to him, I don't know, $50, $100, $150,000, get out of the room. $500,000, not less. This just to open doors in the US, number one. Number two, if you're not coming from the right culture, you're wasting your time. If you don't know how to be an American, apologize all the time, be nice all the time, which is, we're very bad on that, Israelis, okay? You're not in the right market, okay? So again, it needs to be clear. When you want to penetrate into the market, money is not the only thing that you would need. Now, being far, well, from my experience, investors had enough with bringing the CEO. With all due respect to all CEO, if you are not the techie guy, you're useless. We need the R&D. Now, if your R&D is in Israel, no one will move you from Israel, not even Silicon Valley. But if you're from somewhere else, and I'm your investor in the US, I want to see the company here, not somewhere else. Investors like to invest a bike ride away from the office. There are people like you and me. They want to see their investment, not to fill it by emails. They want to be close. They want to be hands-on. Most of them. I'm not talking about the big VCs, okay? So you need to be ready to do that. But again, in order to reach a market, you need to have technology. And this is where you start raising money. The automatic answer for every entrepreneur will be, how much money do you want? $1 million will be the first answer. And then it will say, what do you use it for? Two answers, R&D and marketing. How much? Well, whatever, you choose a number. Everything is right. It's about right, in a way. It's like saying to a startup, before validation, I want to see your business plan. Why the fuck should I have a business plan if I did not validate my technology? It's a waste of time. This is where you find where people are professional. And I'm also speaking about investors. Not everyone is a professional investor. You're not born this way. Same as you're not born an entrepreneur and you're not born an accelerator manager. These skills can be taught, but you need hunch. You need this gut feeling. And these investors have, and don't try to fool your investors. Will not work. They will spot you in a second. They will unveil you. I hope they will not shame you, but still they are professionals as they expect for you to be. Startups needs to understand investors, well, they don't see the blood and tears of the startup selling their baby. For them, they are buying a car, a table, a chair. It's a whole different, well, you know the difference between startups and investors. It's a one simple thing. They are poor and they have money. They're rich. That's an experience and blah, 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 blah. In the end, need to be focused. Work hard on your technology. Work hard on your technology. Rest will follow. If you have good technology, believe me, everyone will be after you. You know how many investors say, Tal, give me just a one good, sane, normal startup. And what they mean is not just the technology. We are all mistaken saying startups is technology. No, startups is people. Thank God we're doing business between people. That's startup life to begin with, is people. They are the leaders. This is why CEO needs to, everything is on the agenda of the CEO. A startup is this small. It's what? It's 2, it's 3 people, 20 people. That's a company. That's not, well, it is a startup like in startup life. It's young, but still startups is 1, 2, 3 people maybe fighting all their lives, eating pizza and cola. This is what they cannot fly to US, let alone pay the taxi to the airport. Needs to be clear. Is that good enough?
Thank you, Tal. Tal actually started with a key recommendation, so we're at the very end of our discussion today. So I'd like to give you the opportunity, guys, Roman, David, and Daniel, to give some, key, perhaps, learnings that you're having from expanding your company or witnessing many expansions of the companies in your portfolio. Roman, if that would be one thing that you would recommend to the audience, how to do the successful expansion, what would that be?
At the beginning, try to find similar markets. So if I'm from CEE, I would definitely start expanding to other CEE countries.
Thank you. David?
My recommendation is, if you know that you have to expand very soon due to the market size, start in the market where you don't have to expand from.
Can you elaborate a little bit more so everyone understands, including myself?
Yeah. Well, if you know that, for example, the Czech Republic or whatever European or Central Eastern European country is too small for you in terms of growth the business significantly, I would actually not start a business there. I would, when it comes to like selling and focusing on that market, and I would start a business in a market which has a size of the market which is substantial for you to be able to grow and build a business of a significant size. So instead of like starting for the first year in Eastern Europe and focusing on the growth of like one small country that you can expand to the different languages around you, take a country which has a larger market size. I know that this is a very personal advice, and that's what I did, and that's what I would do in the future. I'm not saying that this is for everybody, but this is me.
Thank you. Daniel?
My one advice when thinking about international expansion is get the timing right. Nothing more tragic to see than a startup who scaling premature or missing the right moment to drive international expansion. It's totally fine to stay in your home market. It's a wonderful, perfect entrepreneurial achievement to build a 20, 30 people revenue generating cash flow positive thing. Wonderful. All kudos. But if you're after external funding from VCs, you need to get the timing right for international expansion. And that window is often a very, very short period of time. It's not endlessly open. If you drive international expansion too early, before the product is ready to be sold in a new market, you'll be burning your investors' money and your own soul quicker than you can look. Second is, if you miss one moment and someone else picks your slot, you can still build a nice company, but it's not going to be probably a global success. However, it's not always the first to the market to take the market in the end.
Thank you very much. By the way, I love the diversity of your answers throughout the whole hour that we had the chance to discuss stuff. Thank you very much for that. If there is one key advice that I'm having coming from this discussion for all the audience, you guys connecting today to this discussion, find these guys on LinkedIn, go hunt them, ask them questions, get as many advices from them as possible, because there are certainly those that I would love to know at the time that I was starting with my business and trying to expand, and it might save me a few mistakes and failures that we've done. And with that, I would like to really thank you all, Tal, Roman, David, Daniel, for connecting today to the discussion, to Vienna, Israel, SoCal, and London. And
Vit, let us say thank you to you. You're an awesome moderator. You find yourself a new niche, although you're competing with me, so beware. And we want to say thank you to Patrik, and thank you for Startup Disrupt. We do bar mitzvah, weddings. If you want more events, we can join, no problem. And I think some of us are staying to listen to the startups about to pitch.
Absolutely.
So get your napkins ready, guys.
Good job. So Vit, is this something that we should also look for? You just sold your company, and do you think like this is going to be your new career path?
Well, by witnessing, Tal's performance today, I'm just quitting. So it was great to meet you guys. Anyways, back to you, Patrik.
Patrik, you're mute. Patrik, can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now, guys?
Yes. Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I was just saying that it was amazing discussion, and we thank you for this amazing moderation. So right now, what we are having ahead, we are having 4 brave founders who would like to step in and pitch their startup. So all founders will have like up to 3 minutes, and after that, it would be great if all of you, if you can give them some really meaningful advice. So right now, said that, I would like to give a word to Tadeusz Marek, who is a founder and CEO of a startup calling Boost Space. So Tadeusz, the stage is yours.
All right. Hi. So I'm here from startup Boost Space. We have been helping companies with cloud for more than 10 years. And our clients always implement tools like CRM, project management, marketing, invoicing, and they need to make these tools work together somehow. But the problem is that those tools work separately, and our clients have to manage data and files for each of these tools individually. And anything or only thing that we can do is to connect one tool to another and to another. But 55% of today companies uses more than 20 cloud tools at the same time. And now imagine using 20 plus cloud tools in a team and trying to connect every tool to another and another. It's a total chaos. Data are all over the place. Employees don't know where to find anything, and any central change of this data is near impossible. I mean, there has to be a better way. Even though after even in smartphone, I can save a contact and immediately use the same contact with all the installed apps. I mean, I can't even imagine building a separate contact database for each mobile app separately, or taking a photo for each app individually. I mean, there has to be a better way, and all these tools, they look into one central location and they take data from there. And why the hell there's nothing like that in cloud? And that's exactly why we created a central cloud platform for businesses called Boost Space. Boost Space provides that central space for company cloud data. So basically, instead of building all these separate piles of data for each cloud tool separately, you can now employ these tools and make them cooperate on building the central set of company data right in BoostSpace. And with data in a central location, it's easy to manage them. Employees have a central space where they can find anything, and all these tools can use this data too. But we didn't stop there. We also made our own tools, end-user tools, to work with this data. We have 25 modules for project management, collaboration, sales, and analytics. So these modules, they cooperate perfectly, and they can be combined in a modular way to fit the needs of any client or to fit to market trends, such as our solution BoostSpace for home office that we did around Corona situation. We got 2 revenue stream models, software as a service, and we are planning to launch a third-party module store that will be commission-based. Currently, we got over 30 clients, and our recurring revenue is 25,000 euros a month. We have not even started our open beta with automatic sales yet. It's starting in 3 months, so sign up soon on our website. We have 12 team members. I built and sold 2 companies in past and easy created a complex aviation planning software. We have an angel investment of 240,000 euros, and we are on market that grows 3 times faster than all other IT markets combined. And one day, you won't be able to imagine managing data for each cloud tool separately. BoostSpace, central cloud platform for businesses. Thank you.
Okay, amazing, Tadeáš. Thank you for this great presentation. Wow, thank you. Okay, so what do you think? Is there anything what would you like to share with Tadeáš?
Yeah, absolutely. Tadeáš, great job. You somehow managed to say all the key components of a good pitch into such a short time, which I've never managed to do in my life. So great job on that. And you have spent a lot of time on the problem definition, which I like, because I think that all the people from the business community kind of can relate to this problem. What I would focus a little bit more on is your recent traction, actually. So what you've done over the past 6 months, because everyone will ask you about the 6 months anyways because of the COVID crisis. And the recent traction typically shows your ability to execute in the next quarters, and also how potentially you can do in the future. And one more thing, ask what you want from us. How can we help you?
So I really get along with the last sentence of it. So when you finish such a nice presentation and you really presented very well with a lot of motivation, with fire in your eyes and all, but you did not ask for anything, we are left with, why are we here? Okay, that's one thing. Second, sometimes when you say you are good about everything, it leaves your investors in a situation where they're speechless, that I even feel that maybe you should invest in them. So relax it, take it a notch down, okay? Don't need to go with all the cannons and try and kill them and spit your presentation on them. Take a breather,
All right.
It shows control, it shows maturity, it shows that you're a businessman. You're not just, I'm not insulting, but like a kid that says quickly, he needs to read it quickly because he's on a time. No, you manage your time in a more calm kind of way. I really enjoyed the presentation. I understood, I think, all of it. Still, I was left, for instance, for me would be, what is the sales cycle? Because you're already setting, and by the way, many VCs will ask you, okay, so what is the effort of making a sale? Because when they invest in you, they know where the money is going. They would like to know the money, for how many sales can you keep it running, okay? So this for me, but I really enjoyed it. Well done.
Thank you.
I would like to add my 2 cents. You are in a complicated business when it comes to explaining that to regular people, like non-technical people. And I think majority of the folks listening to your pitch, not here maybe, but majority of the people you will encounter, they will have no idea what you're doing, and it doesn't matter at all. But what I would just do is make it a little easier for them and do the work for them. So what you could do is reference to UiPath, which is a company that I also have no idea what they are doing, but they are also from Central Eastern Europe, and they are, I believe, in somewhat similar space. So you could say, the same way UiPath became a $8 billion company and grew in this kind of space, we are replicating that success and the trajectory of growth of the fastest growing SaaS company in the world.
Yeah, exactly. I think that when you use the example of your phone and apps in the phone and what that these apps are communicating together, it was like really brilliant. I could like really imagine what your service is doing, because before that, at the beginning, it was like, for me personally, it was like the pace was too fast and you were like shooting my direction too many numbers. And I was really confused at the beginning. But then when you showed, like, when you use the analogy of like apps in the phone and communicating all together, this was like really, really brilliant.
Thank you.
I can very much echo what the guys just said. Super energetic presentation. Maybe a bit too quick fire. So, we are hearing this for the first time, probably now. Maybe some of us have been active in the space. Then David is totally right. Give some hooks or bearing points where I can like put you into my cloud of thinking. Where does Tadeusz belong to? What is he actually doing? The thing that you do, what you say, I'm not a tech person, of course not, but I think that is useful. However, from a pure investor's perspective, I would have liked to have heard a bit more about the size of the opportunity. How big is this problem? Because, products are for clients. Investors buy the problem.
Okay.
And we only buy into it if we do understand that the problem is big and painful enough to be worth a couple of billions in probably 5 years' time. And to trigger an investor, it's rather the size of the opportunity than the brilliance of the solution.
Okay. So thank you very much. I mean, when you ask what I need to know from you is there's always this 3 minutes, and my startup is a little bit difficult in a way. Nobody knows what we are doing. It's really hard to explain. It's not we are doing this thing, it's done, and now I can speak about traction. So what I want to know, what would you cut out of the presentation? Which parts is too much or not necessary for your?
I would probably give some very concrete customer success stories to the expense of literally pick any of, just some stories. For example, some, I don't know, OTT service provider buys this because of A, B, C, and D, saves him a gazillion of hours of work, or that translates into cost savings of blah, millions of dollars a year. That allows us to size up the opportunity in money terms. We don't understand, at least I don't understand the tech piece anyway.
Okay. And something that was not necessary in the presentation. I mean, if I put anything more in, I would need to go even faster. So I need to take something out. That's the bigger question.
I think the product is complex, and I think it's a fight that you can never win. So I would actually spend much less time on describing the product, and as Daniel was saying, rather put in more emphasis to how big the market is, and like some analogies to other companies what they're doing.
Are you a technical? Right. Are you a technical guy?
So I'm creating the way how the system should work, but I'm not a programmer. So I design the features, I write what the system should do, but I'm not the one that translates this to the language.
You're the product, and you
product
did
manager.
lead. Okay, and you did lead other startups, right? You said you have some experience.
Yes.
Okay, so what I would just recommend you look at your video, and I think you will understand immediately. And by the way, if you can also see our faces, I don't know if you can do that, you will understand even better. So the thing is that right now it's very difficult for you to see us. okay, and you don't see what's going on here, it's very difficult to relate. What you're seeing is a dead screen with some lines that you prepared before. But if you were standing in front of people and you're sensitive enough to see if they're with you or not, it will be a whole much different. That is why, go ahead, make your billion, gazillion, whatever, good luck. And me personally, if I can support you in any way and help, let me know. And I approved you on LinkedIn, so we're friends now.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys. And thank you, Tadeusz, for your page. And hopefully, because I know that you are right now just in front of Startup World Cup and Summit, where you'll pitch your startup like tomorrow or like 2 days ahead. So wish you the best. Hopefully, you'll win.
Thank you.
And looking forward for your next results and your successes. So thank you very much, and I wish you the best.
Thank you for this opportunity. Bye.
Okay, so right now we are stepping into the second page, which will be led by Honza Jan Tročil, who is a co-founder of Adver2. So Jan, the stage is yours. Sorry, Jan, probably you are mute. Maybe could you unmute yourself? Honza?
Hello, can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
So hello, once again, I'm sorry. My name is Honza Tročil, and I'm working on the product called Adver2. Adver2 is basically a data-based media agency because if you look at the market, if you're a big company, you hire a media agency to help you to decide which ad places you should select for the ad you are currently running or for the product you want to present. But the small and medium-sized companies, they don't have options like that. They don't have money to pay for agencies. They don't have even money to pay for their marketing team in-house. And quite often the owners don't have experience with any marketing, so they are left with basically nothing. And that's what we are doing. So what we are doing is trying to have these small companies to find the right ad place. And how are we doing that? We are collecting data. We are building an ad place database. We're describing all the ad places, trying to identify like the target groups that are moving around. It's offline. Currently, we are starting with offline ad places. We want to move to online in the future. And once the company comes, it could be a restaurant, can be a shop. We just say what they are doing, what they are selling, and based on the data and based on the previous campaigns that we can measure, we will advise them to select the right ad places for their customer in their location. Currently, we are quite at the beginning because we did the idea testing. We just took the product, asked the companies. They kind of said that they need help. Actually, what we started with is we wanted to show them measured offline ad places, but the small companies said that they don't even know how to target the customers. So that's why we moved into the market where we are helping them to find the customers. And so we did the idea testing. We went to customers. They said yes. So we built a basic web page. We managed to sell it just without a data model to several clients. And then now actually is the phase where we are building the data model. We have some basics based on open source data. And we want to finish the product and find our customers with the product and automate the whole process of ad finding so that we can measure it as well. We are currently a team of 2, the tech guy and me, the product, and then we have 2 guys that are helping us with sales, and then we have 1 external guy that helps us with data modeling. And we are actually looking for some money so that we can build the product and run to the world and expand as all of you did. So thank you, and yeah, that's all from me.
Okay, thank you, Honza, for your pitch. Thank you. Thank you very much. And yeah, so what do you think, guys, about the page, and what feedback would you like to give to Honza?
See, this was the opposite of the first one. He's too laid back to the other side. Okay, put some energy inside you. I don't know, hit black pepper or something. I don't know, something spicy to get yourself boosting, because it was nice. It was not, but it was not kind of a sexy story to go about. I mean, there is an understanding that the digital era due to Corona has flown light years away, and many small businesses, especially who are technophobic, they're shy of being on the social, and especially even in the writing. I mean, knowing to do marketing, to write in the right way, in a kind of a marketing way. And this is where companies like yours can give a lot of assistance. But it needs to be, for me, it needs to be tighter, because maybe in 6 of my running accelerators, I have 3 different startups doing the same right now, because everyone is onto this problem, okay? And so you're, in a way, you're in the right place. Red ocean, blue ocean, pink ocean, who cares? The fact again would be, can you deliver? Can you deliver, and quickly? Offline is not interesting. You need to be on the online, is very clear. And this is where you need to invest your time. And by the way, if you tell an investor that you did $1 million sales first year of operation, you just add, but it was B2C, different than B2B. It's a whole different world. Okay? B2B is where you need to be. For investors.
Yeah, that would be also my...
Yeah, go ahead. Who was that? Daniel?
I guess Daniel, right?
Yeah, that would be also my spontaneous reaction. The advertising technology space itself is super crowded, and it needs a razor sharp profile of what you're doing. Be very, very specific here, even if that comes with the felt danger that it narrows you down to a very specific niche. But this is what I think the only way into this market, unless you build an over-the-top service that does massive data aggregation, that collects data from all sources, harmonizes, categorizes them, and puts them out in a CEO-proof version. Unless you're doing this, you need to be super specific and build a razor sharp profile. And without that, it's a bit too, I don't know, so difficult to grab.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And there's probably nothing wrong with that. In the very super early stages of a company, it's not so easy to be very clear here. It's a phase of iterating around and testing and trying and going back and forth and back to the start to square one and try again. And this might even take a while, probably a year or two, to build out this sharp profile.
Yeah. Although 8 years ago, my friend founded back then a new media agency, and I told him, "You're fucking insane! Like the market is so crowded. There is no way how you will win this and will become rich out of this." And recently, he sold this company to Publicis, one of the French conglomerate, in one of the biggest PE exits in the media industry. So why I was wrong? Because they had a combination of technology, process, and ability of execution. They had brilliant people behind it. They knew exactly what they need to do. They had a very special process, and they had a technology as a part of this process as well that was unique. That was the reason of their success. I'm not saying that you should have the right combination, but I think it's very important that you explain why you will make it in such a crowded, such a competitive space.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, and Honza, do you have any, let's say, question for our speakers? Something what would you like to ask them?
I wasn't thinking about it. Like, yeah, I would like to ask if it's possible to have a discussion later on or about the investment process, because that's something new to me. Yeah, I need to find out how it works.
Let me answer quickly. Get more traction. You're not ready for investors. I will make it easy for you. Don't even bother your brain with it. Get more traction, get more customers, build a company, be focused on what you do, and then mention investors. Again, they look for an ROI. You're not rocket science material. I'm just saying to you plain and simple. You don't go to sleep today thinking about $1 million. Ain't gonna happen. Okay, you need to grow a business first. This, what you should say, is fine. I will reach to some of you, Tal, not to you, of course, but to the rest, I will reach out and think and speak and get some advice how to build myself a business. Later on, you will speak about investment.
I would actually suggest, I mean, what I would do in your role, if you're interested in raising money, talk to like 5 investors that are your friends or are somehow close. You don't have to pitch them right away, but at the VC will start the relationship and they will tell you like the feedback you're getting here, you will get more specifically from the investors that you'll talk to. So don't wait too long without going to talk to them, because you will warm them up and they will know that you're doing something. And then once you deliver the traction that Tal was asking you about, then they will be like, okay, this guy's for real. Because if you go from like nothing to hey, this is me, I'm like, you know, I wanna get money, then they will not be able to track you and observe your traction. So I would start now.
Okay, amazing. Once more, thank you, Honza, for your time, and wish you the best. And hopefully you will enjoy as well your mentoring sessions, which you will have with Filip later on. So thank you once more, and yeah, have a great evening, and wish you the best in your startup journey. Thank you.
Thank you. See you.
So right now, we are having the last 2 guys. And right now, I would like to pass the word to Andrea, the co-founder and CEO of ImprontMe. So Andrea, can you hear us?
Yeah, hi.
Okay.
Hi. All good?
Yeah. I would say that right now, because we are a bit out of time, so you are having 2 minutes to pitch your startup. So maybe it will be better challenge for you, because I already know that you can do it up to 3 minutes. So I think that this could be more challenging to tell you up to 2 minutes. So yeah, I know that you can make it.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much. All right, let's get to it. Hi. So as I heard, I'm Andrea, and I'm here to tell you a bit about the future of the conference industry. The industry which has been hit hard and which is now more confused than ever, once again. And that's basically exactly where we come in, because at ImprontMe, we turn the uncertainty into certainty, the ambiguity into structure. And we are helping not just the event planners, but primarily to event agencies to solve the issue of how to run a successful virtual and a hybrid conference. Because ImprontMe is the networking platform for hybrid conferences. We deliver an engaging experience to both attendees and exhibitors. And what's more, we connect the 2 seemingly disconnected groups, the virtual and physical participants, as if they were members of the same group. The reason why we are able to do that is because we've been in this space for over a year and a half, and we understand very well international B2B conferences. And when market froze and conferences were moved to Zoom or canceled altogether, we literally spent hundreds of hours on calls with users, clients, event agencies, exhibitors, everyone we could get our hands on. And it really did pay off, because we've pivoted our product very quickly. And in summer this year, we already supported events, matchmaking conferences like CEO Stars, and help them to sell the tickets and to deliver on the promise of matchmaking and connecting attendees or investors and startups. And we hosted several other events since then. And 3 weeks ago, we hosted our own conference eventually as part of our go-to-market strategy. the event where most important leaders from the Czech and Slovak market came together to discuss the future of the conference industry. As a result, the value of our pipeline has already grown just within the past 2 weeks by 95,000 euros, and we are yet to leverage its full potential. On a separate track, we are now testing LinkedIn campaigns, which are now generating us 25 qualified leads per week at €4 per lead. And we are yet to step on the gas in this sense. That's also the reason why we are raising an investment at this point, because we've proven that the market exists. We've proven that we can deliver, and we've proven the demand. And we now need to develop further our product to automate the processes and to take the full advantage of the sales process of the leads that are coming in. So in case you happen to invest in early stage startups with proven traction, I'm here to talk to you. And in case you know some event planners or event agencies which are struggling for survival right now, I would be super happy for the introduction. Thank you.
Okay, amazing. You made it. Woo! Great.
You're killing me. 2 minutes straight away like that. Thank you. Great challenge.
I like how you took the challenge of 2 minutes and made it 3 because I put it on stopwatch. Very nicely
okay,
done.
never mind.
But never mind. No, I don't want to ruin the party. I don't want to confuse you with the facts. Don't be confused with the facts. Never mind. If you were to stay in the 2 minutes, I would be very angry with you. You know, you always need to take your time. For this, you're a startup. No one will be angry. Second thing is, I really didn't understand where's the technology here? I was maybe missed out. Is there any technology here?
Yes. I turned my page around and it didn't work out, as you can tell. But yeah, we are the platform for the events, and we connect several other things together.
Is it similar? Sorry, is it similar to Hopin?
Yes, actually, Hopin is our biggest competitor, but it's not a networking-oriented platform. And actually, it's not a platform; it's a product.
I want to teach you something. When you're speaking about a startup that raised February 5 million and May 40 million, you're not competition to them. Relax, okay? It's like you're going to say Google is a big competition. It's not a competition, okay? But you do have several, including in Israel and including in India. Both platforms, I just participated on their platform, and there are startups. The competition is there. Definitely, you are touching the hot potato. Now it will be about delivery. I would like to see it separately. Okay, I invite you to connect. I want to see the platform because I'm investing in the one in Israel. So I want to see what you have, regardless. Okay, I'm not saying for investment, but I am very interested in your technology to see. I understand the sense behind it, and I think you're in a very interesting niche right now. And I enjoyed your presentation.
Thank you.
Your 3 minutes presentation, by the way.
Okay, so hey guys, let's because we are a bit out of time, so let's give 2 feedbacks for Andrea right now. So who is going into it?
I mean, I'm very much with Tal. What I liked is the clear call to action in the end of the presentation, either an investment or a referral to potential clients. So I leave the room and then know what I have to do. I always like this. The topic definitely is hot, but also very, very frenzy at the moment. There's so much activity going on. The fundraising success of Hopin for 5 million in February, 40 million in April, just going through the roof. Everybody is after them, pouring money on them. And we are just meeting on a platform that could also be your competition, right?
Not really.
The StreamYard. And there is plenty others. So maybe one advice when touching into competition, that one competitor that like 98% of all startups that are pitching are overlooking is the status quo. How is it done now? Not is there any other startup out there trying to solve the problem, but how is it done now? And this industry that you're addressing, they are completely shaken upside down. They, from day one, from March 10th to March 13th, their industry has completely stopped existing. They need frantically a solution. You are there still. It's very difficult for investors to, at first glance, to detect the differences. And maybe this point you could have elaborated a bit more in depth.
Mhm.
I would just add, it was really nice that you have a success story, that you were able to add there some success. I would be maybe a little bit more careful and humble when you are saying that you know really well the market or the environment, and then you added after 1.5 years, doing it. So I think that after 1.5 years, you are quite far from being expert. So on some sort of. So in this case, I would be a little bit more careful about this. But otherwise, I think I really like also, as Daniel said, at the end, the call to action was really, really nice, that you give people like two things to do, right? They can choose.
Sure. All right. Thank you. I'll follow up with you all regardless, so we can chat after.
Andrea, do you have some questions for the speakers?
We don't have time, but I will definitely ask a lot afterwards, because I want to prove, especially to Roman, that I know what I'm talking about.
Okay, deal. So thank you very much, Andrea. Wish you the best. Thank you that you are able to join. Thank you. Woo! Thank you. And yeah, great, Daniel. And we are going to our final speaker for this pitch night session, which will be the founder of podcast media ecosystem, Peter Schwank. So, Peter, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you very well. Thank you.
So, stage is yours.
Okay. So, hey guys. Patrik actually told me about this opportunity about like 10 hours ago. So I haven't really prepared anything. So I am kind of improvising here right now. So, let me paint you a picture here. We are building a podcast company, and I think one of you mentors we had in one of our shows. I'm talking to you, Vít. I think I know you. We are building podcast company here in Czech Republic. Right now, I don't really see myself as a startup. I don't really see myself as a company that has something like special to offer. We are just doing something that is proven by time in different countries, and we are trying to bring it to the Czech market, which is connecting podcasters and advertisers together. And that's kind of our niche, and that's something that we are trying to do. We have a podcasting company that has studios in Prague and soon in Brno, I think, if everything goes well. And what we are trying to do is, as I said, we are trying to connect advertisers and our podcasters here in Czech Republic. Right now, we have about 70 podcast shows that we produce, and I think it's fair to say that right now we are the biggest podcast company here in Czech Republic, and we have only 70 podcasters with us. So that's something that we're proud to do, and we are still growing, which is good. The thing is about podcast advertising, that is something fresh. It is something new. It is something that nobody here in Czech Republic still can do properly, and we are trying to change that. So that's our main focus right now. And if I may, I would say something about podcasters and advertisers in podcast, which is something very interesting. Because it is not for everybody. If you are a company which is progressive, which is small, maybe, which is in technology or startup even, then you are very much likely to attract people or attract leads, good leads, by podcast advertising. And that's it. We wanna create environment that is friendly for podcasters and for advertisers, and we want to create something that is like totally unique here in Czech Republic, and we want to be the first to do it like properly. So yeah. Let me tell you about something also for. It is good. It is good for not only for advertisers who can attract their leads via podcast, which is great because the target group is always there. If you are this kind of company that I talked about, but it is good also for podcasters because they can earn some royalties for the content that they are providing with us. So that is also great. Yeah. So that's what we are doing. I think we can grow as much as we want here in Czech Republic. I'm not really interested in expanding right now because we are a new company, but I think we are good to go here. Lots of plans. Yeah.
Amazing, Peter. Thank you. Woo! I was actually curious, how you'll be able to manage it, because I know that we were talking about your idea like a couple of months, like maybe 5 or 6 months ago, and I know that when I saw your eyes when you were talking about this, I thought that you are working on something really meaningful and impactful. So that was actually why I decided to come to you. And yeah, great. So what do you think, guys, about this?
Peter, what I like about improvisation is that sometimes the tonality and how do you express yourself is the most kind of understandable. So I actually liked how did you speak. I would definitely recommend to put some more structure. I understand that you're improvising. I definitely understand what you're doing. I understand perhaps at what stage you are. So if that was actually what you wanted to get from the audience today, then I guess it worked.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to know if you're planning to add any kind of product too, because it seems like you are more of a service for any company. So do you think you can productize?
Excuse, I didn't hear you.
Do you think you can turn it into a product?
No. We're a matchmaking company. So the ecosystem that we are building is purely about matchmaking. Okay, so that's it. We're building a platform.
Got it. But you also mentioned that you produce the podcasts, right?
Yes. That's what we do too. But right now we are adding this ecosystem that we are building.
On the top of the services that you provide.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
That wasn't clear to me. So maybe if you could somehow different.
Yeah, I didn't think we had a time for that, so I skipped that. Yes, but I definitely understand.
But I think that is the key. That is the keyword here. That you're about to build out a platform economy business model. Because otherwise, I have a kind of a hard time seeing this being a company that needs venture funding. But in terms of you building a platform where content producers and advertisers are being matched, then my next question automatically would be, how defensible is it? Is there any kind of lock-in effect for advertisers to stay always you be the first go-to platform if I want to spend some advertising dollars on some podcast shows?
Yeah.
And what makes this business model defensible again? To me, this is building out a new form of a media company, right? It's like a
that's it. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, we're building media company.
A TV station that runs or a radio station that runs various channels. Only using new technology, new internet platform possibilities. Maybe you can elaborate a bit more on that side of the thing.
Yeah, but you said it. We are actually building a media company. It is not for venture funding right now. It is purely media company that is connecting podcasters and advertisers. So yeah, there are some models that work, and yeah, we're trying to apply them.
I want to say something because Roman is looking at me and saying, when is Tal going to be mean? What happened to him? So let me tell you this. First, never, ever apologize and start like you started. Just think to yourself, I came all the way from Israel to you and you start by saying, I'm not ready. So why did I come? So go, get ready, and then call me. So what I want to say is this beginning and startups, for some reason, especially in Euro field, they need to apologize. No, you don't need to apologize. And by the way, if you did not start saying you were not ready, I will never know you're not ready. I would say, wow, great presentation, very interesting. Well, a bit different, very talkative, not much of technology. And I wouldn't know the beginning and, you know, be offended in a way saying, well, I spend my time. It's almost 10 p.m. in Israel, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying this. Then to add to it, understand that we are now, as humanity, manufacture hours on end of video and audio. But we don't have the patience to listen to them, let alone see them. What the guys are telling you, just to add simple technology saying to both sides, you and the person giving the podcast, is there is no monetization model right now. But if you will be able to give a kind of a promo, a teaser to every podcast, saying to the person speaking, this is for you, go monetize on it. When we upload your speech, your podcast, just add this small teaser. People will listen or look at, let's say, half a minute or a minute, you know, which is a kind of an eye catcher. And this is how you monetize. If you look for the startup, it's already ready. It's called Be Brief. I'm the advisory board. You can buy it from me. I'm just saying, okay? I mean, we're here to do business. So look up Be Brief. I think it can really help your startup. Aside from that, the fact that you're saying you're the first, great for you, be the first. But, you know, take it. It sounds like you take it very professionally. So I'm here to support and say it's a very good idea, very much needed. Get some technology. Otherwise, you will find yourself in a loop of doing podcasts with very low traction and no monetization. The trick here is it has to monetize. And I think the people here can help you. And Be Brief is for you to buy. So.
Okay, amazing. So, Peter, is there one simple question would you like to ask, for example, our speakers? This is like the last question of this event today.
Yeah, so last question, okay.
The most important one, last one.
Okay, do you understand what we're doing?
Is that a trick? Is that a trick question or what?
No, there's no. I really just wanted to ask if you understand what we're doing.
I look at Daniel. If Daniel understands, I understand.
All right.
No, this is actually,
then I have nothing to add.
This is actually a question I enjoy a lot because I very rarely hear this. Have you understood what I just told you? It feels like a bit back in school. I think I do, probably not to the full extent, but to me, you are building a new podcast media company.
Right, something that is not functioning yet in Czech Republic.
It's most likely free to consume, advertising funded.
Right.
A bit dangerous because with all the flaws that come with the free-to-consume ad-funded internet business model, this what nearly broke the neck of media companies 25 years back. I mean, you have some wonderful examples of successful media companies and advertising technology companies in Czech Republic, Social Brokers, Piano, all the others there. So there seems to be something in your country that, I don't know why, but something draws you to this topic. There needs to be kind of an ecosystem. So there is reason to believe this can work. It might not be a company that needs venture funding to scale internationally, but who knows? Who knows? Why not? But it's definitely something that you might be able to grow organically for quite a while and build some a nice business out of it.
Yeah, that is what we're doing now. Yes, that is correct. Thank you.
But if I was a podcaster, what would I get on your platform?
Well, royalties, connection with other podcasters.
Yeah, but no, not from the business model. This I understood, but I record a podcast and I upload it and done. Or do you provide some technology for me that allows to, I don't know, you need hardware to do a podcast, yeah, right? You need a microphone, the audio installment, tons of things that might make. Is there anything you provide there, or is it merely the YouTube for sound podcasts?
Well, you can always record the podcast here in our studios, but that's not really the point. I am not building.
That won't work.
Yeah, I know, but that is really not what we're building. I am not building another YouTube. I'm simply building a platform, like a system, like a website maybe, or that is connecting podcasters that are already here out there, that are already publishing their content with advertisers.
It reminds me a bit of, it does still remind me a bit of YouTube, maybe a bit more of Twitch with all those video gaming videos. That is a model that is super difficult to monetize. Maybe podcasting is easier because the infrastructure doesn't cost as much as it's only transporting sound and audio files and not 4K video. Because with all those streaming platforms that don't stream licensed content but user-generated content, just the ISP bills kill them every month.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, sorry that I'm stepping in, but we are really right now so much out of the time. But I think that was a great added value, and I'm really, really grateful that all of you made your time to spend it with us and give the feedback, all of those founders. And thank you, Peter, for your great improvisation. And I believe that there is some more, to expect in the following year. So thank you very much, Peter, and wish you the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and once more, thank you all of you guys, like the speakers who made it, you beat as an amazing moderator. And yeah, I wish you the great evening, and hopefully we can see each other in the following events, probably online in the following weeks, but maybe in the following months, offline. So once more, thank you very much, and wish you the best, all of you.
Likewise.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
for having us.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so once more, thank all of you guys who made your time to spend it with us, even for the all of Pitch Night sessions. And right now, we are having ahead, the next week, we are organizing another Female Leaders event with Pavlina Louženská. And after that, each week, we are organizing another set of events. So once more, thank you very much for your time, and looking forward to see you again in the next event. Bye.